So again, this is these first crucial few days, JB, after Gabby is finally officially reported is long gone to the reserve, and now we know why the chief in that press conference you see on your screen there.
Hi, darling. Can you hear me at all, Pam? Can you hear me now, darling? Yay! If I turn this back on, can you let me know if you can hear WFLA?
Made this comment about knowing 100% where he is, and turns out they were completely wrong.
We're going to feature your
Anna,
hashtag
hello.
HeyJB. You see it underneath our names here on the left and right side of your screen. Hashtag HeyJB, hashtag HeyJustin. As we do here in WFLA Now, we feature what you have to say. We very much care about what you have to say in our social media comment section. We're going to feature your comments in response to this. If you use one of the hashtags, again, it's hashtag HeyJustin or hashtag HeyJB. We can pluck your comment at a YouTube Live, at a Facebook Live, or Twitter, and we can feature it here on our stream, on our live stream. If you don't want us to feature your comment, just don't use a hashtag. We'll let your comment continue scrolling up the screen here. But Justin, before I start we're going to look for them now here. Hashtag HeyJB, hashtag HeyJustin. I would imagine, what do you think the response is going to be to this latest report, and really this admission of a mistake by Josh Taylor on behalf of his police department?
I think a lot of us have just been puzzled, when they knew the van was back there the Saturday night. They knew the family had turned over the contact for Stephen Bertolino. And the question from the get-go was, had Northport Police ever actually had their eyes on Brian? And now this raises question whether they even saw him in those few days since he had returned home. And I imagine just leads to some more, outrage from our viewers who have followed this story closely, who have been asking all along, how did they let him slip, under their fingers like that, right to a reserve not too far from the home? And we know Gabby's body was found 8 days after she was reported missing. It took 34 days to finally locate his remains in the reserve that you see on the screen. So, again, Josh Taylor's been given a few more interviews in the last couple of days, trying to set the record straight on some of these lingering questions from the early days of this investigation. But this admission, I think, is just going to, viewers are not going to feel.
So, Anna, what apparently happened is the latest update. Police mistook Laundrie's mum for Brian. Northport Police tell these guys at WFLA that law enforcement saw the Laundrie's Ford Mustang return home on Wednesday, September the 15th, and thought the driver was Brian, when in fact it was his mother, Roberta. Just another bungle from the Northport PD.
Brian is. We know where Brian is, and then the next day, of course, he's gone, and it's the subject of a massive "how did that happen" sort of live stream that we had, and now here we are, more than a month later, and all that time passing doesn't help this look any better for Northport Police as far as what we're seeing. There have already been some comments that I've been going through here on Facebook and on YouTube. Let's just say that they don't have language that is appropriate here for this live stream. That's how dumbfounded I think it's fair to say that folks are dumbfounded. People are,
and now there's these questions too. Stephen Bertolino, some of his comments saying that he had told the FBI that Brian had left to the reserve does not add up to the timeline, JB, of not until Friday, the 17th, when they said we don't know where he is. So that thing also adds to this confusion. Who knew what when? Stephen Bertolino says he knew that Brian had left for the park that Monday. Why wasn't there more of an indication that he's MIA earlier that week until the Friday when they officially filed the report, which we did receive a copy today, JB, but you saw that was completely blacked out, that Northport Police gave us the missing person report on the Friday and is completely redacted.
Yeah, and we shared that out as well. I'm waiting for our system to cooperate here as far as animating your comments on screen. Looking forward to again, there's just so much disbelief. But let me make something clear. There are people now that are asking, are Chris and Roberta Laundrie going to be arrested? And this is a mistake by the police department. And Roberta Laundrie has been and Justin, you can share this with me because you've been back and forth between Northport and
Yeah.
every clip that I have seen Roberta Laundrie, it's almost weird if she's not wearing a baseball cap. I mean, she's usually wearing that forward-facing
She
hat.
has short hair, but she's usually seen wearing the baseball cap. We know there was those photos we saw that emerged last Wednesday that Fox News Digital got Chris and Roberta when they went over to the reserve. I believe she's wearing a baseball cap in those photos as well. As we to the comments, JB, I just pulled back my notes. So as you know, the first day we covered this story was that Monday, September 13th. And one of the questions I asked Josh Taylor at the time was, is the boyfriend cooperating with Northport Police before he confirmed he was the fiance? This was his direct quote to me, JB, on that Monday from Josh Taylor. Yeah, I'm not really at liberty to discuss that. Again, we're an assisting agency. We'll see where that goes, obviously. I'm not at liberty to say whether he's working our level of wanting him to be. So that was the official word from Josh Taylor on that Monday, when we now know Brian had already left for the park to never come home, and now we know the skeletal remains were found, and there's
Please don't be my stream that's making it. I don't
delineating
have
questions
the
about
best
how
computer,
he died.
guys.
But again, these first couple days coming under new scrutiny with these comments from Northport Police that they thought Brian returned home on Wednesday, when now they're saying it was his mother, Roberta Laundrie.
Let's get to some of the comments that are beginning to come in here, but this doesn't really, for people asking online, and again, use hashtag AJB, hashtag AJustin with your comment, we can feature it on screen. This doesn't change the timeline all that much. It's more of a clarification on why police thought that they knew where Brian was 1 minute and then he was gone the next, or at least he was already gone. Remember now, Stephen Bertolino, the attorney for Brian Laundrie, originally shared that the family
Lost him on the Tuesday.
Lost him on the Tuesday, but it was in fact on the Monday. That being
yep.
Monday, September 13th. Let me just make an observation that is within the realm of possible. That is very important, and there's so much that could. But I want to talk about what is within the realm of possible here, as I call it on stream. Okay, Brian Laundrie's remains, the skeletal remains found at the Carlton Reserve, the partial skull, the dental records that would go on to confirm that yes, that those skeletal remains belong to Brian Laundrie. We have no idea. We have no idea when Brian Laundrie was deceased, when he died.
Or how it happened. Those are still under
But if he disappears on Monday the 13th, by the time this is all going on, by the time that the Ford Mustang is driven back to the home in Northport, by the time that Chief Todd Garrison stands up there and says, we know where Brian is, to the big
Just
massive
the
live stream that we had when everyone was crowding on the front lawn of the home that Friday night, the night of Friday, September 17th, while this is all going on,
So it's just the three of us, my lovely ladies. Do you guys want to keep listening to this, or would you like to look up some cases?
as far along in the decomposition process as they were found out to be at the Carlton Reserve, makes it more likely that the time frame in which Brian Laundrie was deceased is way early on in this window. Window of beginning from Monday the 13th all the way through to mid-October, that it's way more likely that Brian Laundrie was deceased in September versus October, and it could have been that week. We just don't know yet, though, and we hope that the anthropologist examination will provide us with some answers.
We also know there have been comments. Now that Stephen Bertolino has put himself out there for some network interviews, one of the questions he's been asked is whether the Laundrie parents were concerned about their son's safety when he did leave for the park. And I think the answer Stephen Bertolino gave was, well, he's a young adult, grown man. You know, his dad could see he was upset, wishes he could have done more to stop him, but he really couldn't have stopped him from leaving on his own volition at that point to go to the park. And at least through Stephen Bertolino, they're saying that there was no imminent knowing that he might go harm himself or of that nature. So that's another comment that's been made in the last few days from Mr. Bertolino.
Let's get to, all right, so the comments on our live stream here, they are not, the animation isn't working as I understand it. We're going to try one more time to see if we can get it working. I have had conversations with Facebook today. Facebook says that they're having some technical difficulties with the ability for us to pluck comments out of the Facebook Live comment section. Oh, look, See, right? This is the
There it
second
goes.
time today where I've been talking about Facebook having some issues. Josh mentioned Zuckerberg, and the moment he said Zuckerberg earlier, it animated on screen. So now it's working, and it might just take a good 30.
Hey, Autumn, welcome. It's good to see you. We are watching WFLA at the moment, just listening to another muck-up that was made by the feds and the police. And then we're going to take a look at some new cases.
Face charges. They return home with the Ford Mustang on that 13th. Okay, and they go back into they're retrieving the car. They're driving down public roads. They pull into their own driveway and go into their house and close the door. And it's not their fault that police mistook Roberta for Brian. That's not the laundry's fault. That's on the Northport Police Department. They admit that they have made a mistake here. That crucial day, Wednesday, September 15th, last month. And so, can they be charged? No, there's nothing to suggest here that there's anything criminal that was conducted by the laundries. But this comment by Maria, and Maria, you're not the only one to ask this question.
A lot of people are asking this question.
A lot of people asking this question. I'm a bit surprised by how many people are asking this question. But this just goes to show how much that Brian Laundrie's parents, Chris and Roberta, remaining silent through those crucial days in early September where they would not take the Petito and Schmidt phone calls and would not respond to Gabby's family just trying to find out where Gabby was, and they were just staying silent, and they were being represented at that time by Stephen Bertolino, their attorney. This just goes to show how much bad juju there is out there on social media for Chris and Roberta Laundrie. That's not necessarily a news term, but it is just indicative of just, again, how much people are looking at Chris and Roberta Laundrie here and saying, what happened? What exactly happened? And I think that people want answers once and for all, Justin, from Chris and from Roberta.
And Stephen Bertolino's line of communication this whole time through is he advised his clients to say nothing. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration built towards this family in those early days is, what did they know?
Elena, welcome to my stream. We're just taking a look at one of the Brian Laundrie updates, one of the latest ones of the Northport PD mucking up.
18th would have been the first day he put out a public statement saying it's a difficult time for both these families. My clients are not going to say anything else. I think that's where a lot of the frustration has been directed at this family, is that they were not really saying much in those early days before authorities found Gabby's body out west.
Looking through just some of the comments that are coming in, there is a lot of disbelief here, and they're coming in so fast. I am trying to pluck them as much as I can. Everyone else is on the news here, so it's me going through some of these comments and trying to get as many as we can in our social media comment section. Let's say a big thank you, of course, to Maria for filing in that comment, and we'll see if Facebook cooperates as far as getting us the next one here.
Just keeps going on.
Early days of reporting on this case. I keep referring to my notes from that first conversation with Josh Taylor on Monday the 13th. At the time, he told me they had 10 detectives from their department assigned to work on this case. Just another little tidbit how this was, knew this was going to be a big case from the early days on. And again, we're all sitting here with this admission today that despite the manpower and that they were putting towards this case in the beginning, they mistook Brian returning home for his mother, Roberta. Again, JB Buno, Justin Checker. If you're joining us, you can go to WFLA.com, the WFLA app. You can read the very latest on this story. Again, a mix-up. A mix-up that explains a lot and doesn't make the Northport Police Department look all that good, but it is them stepping forward and saying this is what happened. Again, this was the mistake. This is why we said one thing one day and Brian really wasn't really within. We didn't know where he was the next. And I go back to what I said from Stephen Bertolino's public comments. Now, he tipped off the FBI that Brian wasn't home. How did that information then not get back to Northport PD? So it's, again, just, I think, further muddies the water in a way, JB. It answers one thing as to why Chief Garrison said what he said, but now it's who knew what when that week that this young man did not come home, and we're all left here, scratching our heads, a little bit dumbfounded by this development.
Northport
Dumbfounded,
Police,
that's a good
again,
word.
coming forward and telling WFLA.com, really just confirming to me via email that this was, in fact, what happened, and this was the reason for the mix-up in September. And I think that there's nothing. It's fair to say, and I've been saying it for weeks. There has been a lot of criticism online for the Northport Police Department. I think that's an observation that is.
Please make sure you hit that like button on the way in. Mods, if you can remind people of the rules, if any more people come in, and if you want me to tell you what they are, just tell me, let me know. But after this, we're going to look at some cases.
Stepping forward to the microphone today and admitting that it was, in fact, a mistake on behalf of his department. His exact words were, "No case is perfect. No case is perfect." So there's been people, Justin, that have been reaching out to me asking whether or not there was going to be any accountability for. But that's something we'll have to find out in time, whether or not there's any ramifications. But this isn't the first time that police have made a mistake, and it's certainly not the last time that a police department in this country will make a mistake. It's not a.
They made a mistake. It's not the first time a police department has made a mistake. It ain't the first time this police department, this one, Northport PD, have made a mistake.
Here's the thing, and I have said throughout this story that the one constant is expect the unexpected. If you had told me today that this was going to happen, that the reason why Northport Police said that they knew where Brian was and that they didn't know where he was and that they got it wrong was because of a case of mistaken identity involving one of the parents, I would have said, oh, okay, so they thought it was Chris Laundrie and it was, or they thought, I'm sorry, they thought it was Brian Laundrie, and it was Dad, Chris Laundrie. And we have it as this is a bizarre admission by Taylor on behalf of his police department, saying,
bizarre.
No, we got it wrong because we thought that Roberta Laundrie was Brian. It's a lot of commenters here, Justin, saying it's so strange and odd that Roberta, his mother, who is with all due respect to Mrs. Laundrie, I don't want to. She's older. She's considerably older than her son, her 23-year-old son, Brian. So to make that mix-up, I want to know. So okay. Where are the officers? Are they using binoculars? Are they looking outside of their car window? What time of day are they seeing this? Is it late at night? Is it early in the morning? Is it midday? Are you chomping on a quarter pounder with cheese when this is happening in your police car? Because let's be real. Okay, sitting outside and doing surveillance of a home, it is long, arduous hours where you have to pay attention at every moment for something to occur. But what was there a challenge that was present? That was the reason why investigators or officers, whomever it was at the house, made the mistake when they thought they saw Brian return home in the Mustang. Then they radioed it in or communicated back to the department, and they said it was Brian, but in fact it was Roberta.
You should also add for the timeline, this is that Wednesday, JB, where the first time they named Brian as a person of interest in the case. So I just want to add that nugget did come out the same day, that Wednesday, when they're now saying it was this case of the mistaken identities. So that's important to mention as well, that this is all in those first few crucial days when the story is slowly gaining momentum from a local story here covered in Florida, out west, the New York market. It was really that Wednesday, Thursday when this became a big national sensation at this point, and Northport coming under the microscope, especially that press conference. We keep talking about that Thursday. Do you know where he is?
Legally,
says,
Pam,
absolutely yes.
we
Turns
can't
out
do that in New Zealand.
Bad intel from the day before that his officers reported back to him that they thought Brian had returned home in the Mustang, when now they're saying it was his mom.
Mistaken identity. And also, too, we have heard, and it's been now shared publicly by News Nation's Brian Enton, and we knew this as well, but we didn't. There were cameras. So Brian Enton shares that there were cameras that were set up there, and that they had surveillance of the house. And so do you then review that footage, that surveillance footage, and say, yep, there goes Brian walking in the house. He returns home in the Mustang. There he goes inside. We know where he is now. We can say in the press conference confidently that Brian is in fact at his family's home there in Northport. Does the visual evidence, is there digital evidence that supports what the visual evidence was as far as the surveillance that they had? These are questions now, because now we know that the home was under surveillance before Brian's disappearance.
Yeah, it just further muddies the water.
It does. That's exactly why I'm according to News Nation's Brian Enton. Yeah, just reading a couple of text messages here. Okay, so the next comment that we have coming through, and okay, yeah, Barbara, you're up next. We're going to go to Barbara's comment here on WFLA Now in the Facebook Live comment section with hashtag HeyJB, hashtag HeyJustin, and let's see. All right, Facebook, cooperate. Yes, see, it just takes a little bit of a push. Barbara Eisenberg here. Let me read it for everyone listening, because not everybody watches. Some people just listen in their cars. Hashtag HAB. Of course, I can't say for sure, but wasn't Brian much taller than his mother, and doesn't...
Anna, the case of the twins was horrible, but thank you for watching it. I did give out a warning that it was quite awful. But thanks for watching my video. It's not nice. Come back, you two.
As a good amount of hair on her head compared to her husband and of course Brian. But let's talk about height.
So isn't he 5'8"? Is that right?
5'8". I had that confirmed from Northport Police. 5'8".
Little. Mom's probably.
We don't know. I don't know Roberta Laundrie's height,
her next to her husband, she's shorter than Chris.
But we don't know his height either. So we're trying to be very upfront and honest with you that we have seen Chris and Roberta so many times. We're not sizing them up. We don't have, technology that scans their height when they come out of their home to grab mail from the mailbox. But we have seen their height, and Brian being 5'8", let's just say maybe Roberta's 5'4". It's a 4-inch difference. So if you're on that street and you're Northport Police and you're providing surveillance, let's say an unmarked vehicle, and let's say you're there just hanging out on a public road and you see the Ford Mustang come home, can you, depending on your distance from the house itself, your proximity from the house itself, how equipped are you to distinguish between a 5'8" person and a 5'4" person? Again, that's just assuming that Roberta is somewhere in that height. Don't know if Roberta is 5'4". If she's significantly shorter than that, then of course it doesn't help police as far as making this mix-up. But they had a similar build, according to Josh Taylor. That was the words. That was him. Now you got to remember, he's the spokesperson for the department, so he is kind of putting it out there that he's giving some reasoning as to why this mistake was made, and he's saying it's because they had a similar build.
So as a journalist, one of the things that I'm really eager for, JB, and I go back to what we said about the report from Friday being completely redacted that we received. At what point will this case be considered closed, that we can see these documents unredacted?
No time soon, I don't think.
I'm just saying, I don't know when that'll be, but I think we as journalists will do our best. We have pretty open sunshine laws here in our state to get access to this stuff. It'll be nice to see. I don't know when it'll be, but we will stay on top of that, JB, when we can get access to these unredacted reports to see what exactly was said in these early days of this investigation. And I really want to see the one that you tweeted out earlier that Friday, completely blacked out, Because again, I go back to what I said before about Bertolino saying he had tipped off the FBI that Brian had gone to the reserve, but he wasn't officially reported missing to Northport PD till Friday. So I really want to see that unredacted report. I think that would help maybe unmuddy the water a little bit if we can get those reports. I don't know when they'll come out, but everyone here at News Channel 8, JB, myself, we will stay on top of that to hopefully provide you guys at some point in our reporting what these reports say when they're not completely blacked out.
Can we just talk for a moment? And we are not doing a long stream here. We're going to be done relatively soon. But let me just point something out for our audience. I think that a lot of folks are commenting this without hashtags. So let me share an observation from our commenters and our loyal WFLA Now viewers around the world, and I'll try to share this sentiment as accurately as possible. Okay, there was so much that had to occur for Brian Laundrie to be able to vanish. So many things that could have gone left or right, that could have gone thumbs up, thumbs down for us to get to the end result, and that went that one particular way.
Thanks so much for coming. August. I appreciate it.
There in a domestic dispute, and there's that happens in Utah and Moab, and police decide to split them up, but that no charges are filed. It was just a one-night separation is what is determined in Moab.
Pause just for 1 second. I just want to give a shout out to Elena and Teresa, who I actually am friends, I guess. I don't know what the word is. Excuse me. But I go on to another live stream in another channel, and these two girls are in the subs there in the chat, and we have great fun. And so just acknowledging them for coming along. Thank you so much.
That occurs. Then Brian Laundrie, returns home, and Gabby Petito's father and Gabby Petito's mother, Nicole, they try so desperately to reach out to the Laundries. They don't get any response. That goes in seemingly now, potentially, depending on your viewpoint, your perspective here, in Brian's favor, at least Brian being able to get to elude authorities if he is in fact attempting to elude authority.
Hey, Curious, welcome.
Then somehow he is able to on Monday the 13th, according to Bertolino, on Monday the 13th, somehow, some way, he's able to just poof, vanish. The family reports it as Tuesday the 14th, but it's actually the 13th. Then that Wednesday, police come home, or excuse me, the Mustang returns home, and police mistake Roberta Laundrie for Brian. That again is something that you couldn't have seen coming. And then he has several days where he's already out there at the Carlton Reserve, apparently, or already out there at the Carlton Reserve. No one has any idea. No, not even police have any idea that he had
Bertolino saying he told the FBI. That's where this whole just adds the muddy, those first couple of days there. It's just, it's you wish you could play, hindsight, But
I'd like to note that we see the comments out there that have been very, very, very critical of Moab police. We have seen the comments that have been very, very critical of Northport police, and we do know that there is this very vocal group out there of viewers that are saying that Brian Laundrie slipped through the cracks, and that there was all of these opportunities, these moments in time where perhaps they could have at least asked him the question that's on everyone's minds: what happened to Gabby? Did something terrible happen to Gabby under your watch? And it just didn't happen. We never, ever were given the opportunity to find out from Brian himself what happened to Gabby Petito.
And Bertolino's advised the parents not to say anything. And to this day, they've not really said much of what, if anything, they did know. We know, JB, we've covered a lot about those days between the 1st and the 11th with the camping trip to Fort DeSoto we reported on. Obviously, his sister has been come under scrutiny for what she knew. When did she see her brother during those first couple of days? And now with the discovery last week that Brian's remains have been found, it's we'll never the unsatisfying ending that he'll never have a chance to make a statement at some point to investigators about what happened and what did he know when, and it's just
Yeah,
Dumbfounded.
Cheryl Lewis, hashtag KJB, so many red flags in this entire story. The average person has seen them. Why hasn't law enforcement seen them? And Cheryl, I'm trying to click the button to flash your comment on screen so we can show it, but it's just not cooperating today. We had the problem in our earlier stream as well. It's just doesn't. Welcome to live streaming, folks. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We're here live with you, Justin Checker.
No, nothing yet, Autumn.
There are just so many oddities, so many unexpected occurrences in this case that where if things had gone the other way, Brian Laundrie is at least approached by police, or at least arrested on the federal arrest warrant that was in his name for debit card fraud. There are so many moments in time where you think that it's so close to Brian Laundrie being at least questioned, at least in the same room as an officer. Let's point that out. There was never a moment where Brian Laundrie was looking an officer in the face outside of the Moab incident. He gets back on September 1st in the white van, goes camping a few days later. Then Monday the 13th, he vanishes. Northport police say that we know where he is, but they didn't know where he was because they thought it was Roberta returning home in Mustang. And here we are, and now we are just awaiting word at this time. Right now, it's for people that have found this stream after the fact. Right now, it's 6:48 Eastern Time, October 25th, 2021. As of right now, we don't know the cause of death, and we don't know when perhaps a forensic examiner, like an anthropologist, can definitively say when, in fact, Brian Laundrie died. But I mean, we now know a little bit more as to how he was able to
elude police.
Yeah, or if not elude police, just go out for this hike and no one know about it really, rather than Chris and Roberta. But again, you're talking about the Bertolino statement, so there's just that whole week is under the microscope still here in late October, coming up on Halloween here, very very close to the end of the month of the second month of this story. And or you could argue the third really of the story, at least the second that it's been on our radar. And we're that week is just, when we look back at this story months and years from now, and you know that it is going to, in various forms of, in various different ways, and you know what I'm talking about, when people look back on this story one day, whether it's in a documentary form or whatever it might be, when it's examined, that week is going to be the week that they zoom in on the calendar and say, this is the week where everything happened. Where, or at least as far as Brian Laundrie's disappearance, this was, police saying that they knew where he was, the Mustang being returned home, the Friday night when we were live here for hours on end and talking about how, and Josh Taylor called in to WFLA Now and admitted on WFLA Now in front of, I think it was 250,000 people were watching in that moment or so, and Josh Taylor admitting to us here on stream, we don't know where Brian Laundrie is. That week is going to be under the microscope for many months, years, if not even more than that, as people look back on this story.
And that Friday, I was down in Northport. I mean, it was a circus outside the home that night. That was, there was a handful of TV crews, reporters. The protesters showed up that night, and that was really the first time, JB, where Northport police, where the Laundrie parents, took time to talk to Northport police, was, oh no, our son is missing too. And we all remember the statement that came out that night from the attorney for the Schmidt-Petito family saying, no, he's not missing, he's hiding. And now we know he's been dead. We don't know how long he's been since he became deceased. How he died remains under investigation, but given what they've said about the partial remains being discovered, I think, JB, we're on the same page to think that he probably was dead shortly after he vanished to the park, and I will just wait to see when the anthropologist can try to piece that timeline together for us. But like you said, that first week from the missing person report from Miss Petito on the Saturday to that next Friday, those 6 days will be forever scrutinized, what happened during those days. And here's another twist to this story. The news today that Northport police...
Just pause for a minute. Curious, good to have you. So, yes, this is right. The attorney is saying he told the FBI on Monday that Brian was missing. Now, the interesting thing is the lawyer, old Bertolino, said in one interview that Brian said he was just going for a hike just to clear his mind. So if he was going to clear his mind and just for a hike, why would you ring up and report him missing? That doesn't make sense. But then in other reports or other interviews, he says, oh no, that Brian was really, really upset when he left the house. And Chris said that he wished he could have stopped him. So you're right. Why would you report that when he's just gone for a hike? I think because he doesn't know what he's saying and he's mucking it up a bit. That's what I reckon. And go, play.
Taylor says that Wednesday they thought it was Roberta returning. They thought it was Brian returning home, and instead they mistook him for his mother.
Let's see one more. There it is. Elizabeth Flower. Hashtag Hey Justin. When will we know the cause of death? Big question.
There's no set timeline on this, Elizabeth. We do know the remains turn over to an anthropologist, try to do more analysis of this. I was honestly surprised, JB, that they positive ID'd him within 24 hours last week.
We were all
shocked by that. I mean, I had gotten down there to the park. I was near where our colleague Allison was reporting, and we'd seen the tweet from Brian Enton, and I'm like, it was that moment where it was like, it's quiet out there, radio silence. We all get that push alert from the FBI being like, wait, it is him. And it was, so I think we're all surprised that we got the positive ID so quickly from the dental records, according to the FBI. As for an official cause of death for Brian, just given what we've reported on how the remains were discovered, it could take some time. But obviously, JB and myself and our team here will stay on top of this. And as soon as there is an update, we'll let people know. But it could, in my estimation, take longer to learn how he died than we learned, sadly, how Gabby was strangled to death. Was in maybe a month after she was identified. So
this is Justin and I. This is our first time on stream together since that. So I'll just share. I too was very, very surprised, but at the same time, with the prevalence of this case, the high priority and high profile of this case, I'm sure every means that they could, as far as expediting those dental records and getting a thorough dental review back quickly, there has to be enough indistinguishable characteristics in those dental remains for them to say with certainty, with the FBI's name and emblem on that release, this is Brian Laundrie. So for all the folks, and listen, I know, and Justin knows, we both know how many comments there are, people saying I don't think Brian is deceased. We see them.
My sister called and said that to me, like the night after I'm there reporting on this on scene. I told my sister, no, like.
Your sister?
Who's been following the story, she's asked me that same question. Is he really deceased? I said, Sarah, this is what the FBI is telling us. They've, so it just, people have had these oddities in this story. I've left people scratching their head, JB. I think it's part of the reason so many people, friends I know across the country, you as well, have been following this closely. And I assured my sister and others, I said, no, this is from the FBI, that they have enough evidence to say he is dead.
I have had others come up to me in person and say,
JB, curious, thanks for coming.
I don't think he's dead. And I understand that there's just, and this goes back to, and let me explain why so many people are saying this. First and foremost, we watch way too much Netflix, way too much Hulu, way too much HBO. Okay, we're there. I think that we are a media-obsessed country. And I'm speaking, yes, about the United States, but even other countries around the world, watching shows, Squid Game. Okay, there's just way where the unbelievable is to be expected. They just think that this is going to play like a television show, but also at the same time, it goes back to all of the moments of sheer disbelief throughout this story. More than any story that I've ever covered in my career, and I'm being very candid with our audience here, I have never seen so many moments of an unexpected occurrence actually occur.
I know, JB. I know what he's talking about.
I talk with my wife at home. I still cannot believe there was a moment that Friday night, and I'll share this with our viewers, there was that moment on Friday night, September 17th, where I was in the newsroom, I was about to go home for the night, and we were waiting, but we had heard that there was a lot of commotion at the house, and we were preparing a live stream, and we were trying to get the live feed up from the Laundrie home because we heard that it was a zoo. We heard it was the circus, and the feed comes on, and we see media, we see the public, we see demonstrators with signs, with bullhorns, with megaphones on the front lawn of the laundry home, there was more distance between me and this camera
Yep.
than there was between the front door, or there was about the same distance between me and this camera right here than there was to the front door of the home, to where people were standing on Chris and Roberta's property. That's how crazy that night was. There's so many moments in the story where there was just so many just unbelievably unexpected occurrences, like that one, like so many others, including this one here tonight, where police, in the case of mistaken identity upon the return of the Mustang, and it's police mistaken Roberta Laundrie for Brian and not Chris Laundrie for Brian. There's just so many moments like that here in this story, and that is why, bringing this all back full circle, I think that's a big reason why there are so many people out there that still tweet at me, that go over to my WFLA JB Instagram and Facebook and say, JB, I don't care what you say, Brian Laundrie isn't dead. But folks, it's the Federal Bureau of Investigation, it's the FBI, with every expert that they have. Okay, this is the top really law enforcement agency in the country. Okay, and with the high profile of this kid, they have any federal examiner that they want, able to look at these dental remains. And for them to put it out so quickly is even more indicative that it was indistinguishable that those remains did in fact belong to Brian Laundrie, and that Brian Laundrie, according to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, is deceased. I know that there's going to be so many commenters saying, I don't believe that, but we're staying rooted in reality. It's the FBI confirming that Brian Laundrie is deceased. The family has come to terms with it, according to Bertolino. Bertolino himself shed a couple of tears on it.
Privately, there won't be a funeral, that they're just processing this for having lost their son. And it goes back to the fact that they searched that park in and out for how many weeks, JB, until it was the day after the park reopened. The parents decided to go back over there, and they helped investigators stumble upon these items, the backpack, the notebook, and then...
I get it. So of all the people to find that bag, you're telling me that it's Chris Laundrie, you're telling me... I guess
for law enforcement, fair. I mean, they've said because it was the weather conditions, being underwater there, that might have hampered efforts with any canines or any search teams to locate these items. But again, people have raised suspicion about how the parents, stumbled upon these items there on that Wednesday morning, and then by the next day, by 6 o'clock, we know that he's passed away, and those are his remains there. So it's like you said, it's been expected, unexpected since we've been on this story for the last almost 2 months now, JB. But again, those first few days, that first week after Nicole Schmidt reported her daughter missing, will be under so much scrutiny for days, months, and years to come as people continue to analyze and piece together what happened. And I referenced back, my first conversation with Josh Taylor on that Monday, and him saying, well, he's not cooperating to the level we want him to be. I can't really tell you. He wasn't a suspect or person of interest at that point. And then, again, that moment on Thursday where the chief said, we know where he is. We now know is based on this incorrect intel he had received from his officers on Wabasso Avenue there, mistaking him for his mother. And we're all still here scratching our heads all these weeks later.
And let's not Justin, are you familiar with the death of Elisa Lam at the Cecil Hotel? And,
yes.
And it was a story that was brought back. I remember, but it was a story that was brought back into the mainstream by the Netflix series that went into the death of the Cecil Hotel. Let me just share this for our viewers, okay? That when people ask, JB, what are some of the other stories that you remember that rise to the level of public fascination as far as a mystery? And this was a mystery. Who was, how did Gabby Petito die? First and foremost, where was Gabby Petito? Then it became, how did Gabby Petito die? Then it became, who murdered Gabby Petito? Then it became Brian Laundrie. Where is Brian Laundrie? And then it became, of course, now, how did Brian Laundrie die? All of these mystery-based questions. And this is what online sleuthing has contributed to, as far as trying to collaboratively put together evidence on channels like Reddit and Discord and so many other places, trying to collaboratively community-based crime solving, right? Trying to come together and aiding law enforcement in coming to trying to find out the truth. I remember earlier on in this story, there were people that were going through frame by frame of Yellowstone webcam footage to try to spot the van. I mean, that's not something that many law enforcement agencies are going to be able to click the space bar over and over again and go through every frame of Yellowstone National Park and look for one vehicle. That was the community coming together and trying to find that one vehicle at one of the largest parks that there is. And talking about Yellowstone, But and
just pausing it for 1 second. No, I forgot what I was going to say. Let me put it back on.
But let me go back to the death of Elisa Lam, because that's the one that to me rises to that level of just of online sleuthing and public fascination. And let's not forget that police did make a mistake in the Elisa Lam case when they did not look in the water tower, the water container on the top of the building. That they went up there to the roof, and folks who know about the Elisa Lam story know exactly what I'm talking about. I know that's not an enormous amount of our audience, but look it up.
So the Elisa Lam case I followed really well because John Lawden covered that case, did so many videos about it and stuff. And he was the first true crime YouTuber, or first YouTuber that I actually watched, and it's how I got into this. So thanks to John Lawden for doing such a good job on the Cecil Hotel and the Elisa Lam case. Just saying.
Police made a big mistake in that story, and I'm just pointing out that with a case of such high profile, there is precedence out there, and there have been so many cases in the past where there have been law enforcement mistakes. This one feels enormous now, and there are some folks that are in seeming disbelief that Roberta Laundrie could be mistaken for Brian, but there have been other police mistakes and police errors in high profile cases. Mistakes happen. They happen. This one happened here. You have Josh Taylor admitting today that this mistake occurred, but bottom line is what we have here is a transparent admission of a mistake by the Northport Police Department. Does it change anything? Let's end out on this, Justin, because I know that you have to get to work for our 11 o'clock news tonight. The question really is now, if police did know that the return of the Mustang on Wednesday, September 15th, if they did say, oh wait, that's Roberta Laundrie, where's Brian? And then it accelerates their timeline by 48 hours. That's a 2-day difference between when the search really began and it was a widely known disappearance of Brian Laundrie.
This was the Saturday was the first day they really went out to the park.
Right,
so
yes,
that's
true.
night,
It was more discovered on Friday, and then it was...
The next morning is when that massive canvassing of the...
Does that 2 to 3 day... do those 2 to 3 days make a difference when all the facts of this story are laid out in the future? If they did know, if this mistake doesn't happen, if this mix-up doesn't happen, is there a chance that Brian Laundrie isn't deceased? Is now a big lingering question that people are going to want answered. Was this police mistake in any which way, shape, or form? We'll never know. We'll probably never will know, because Brian disappeared on, now we know, the 13th, according to Bertolino. That's where he went for the hike, and he was already, by the time that the Mustang was brought home on the 15th, he's already gone for about a period of roughly 48 hours. So does the extra 2 to 3 days make a difference? It certainly doesn't look good that Garrison comes forward on that Thursday and says we know where he is, and then Friday they say we don't know where he is. Taylor calls in WFLA now and says we don't know where he is. But will those couple of days make a difference? We probably will never know.
Like I said, what I want to see, JB, is these documents unredacted. I don't know when that'll happen, but I think us here at Channel 8 and WFLA will still push to get those reports at some point to hopefully maybe provide some more clarity and some answers, especially in this first crucial week when this story became a national obsession.
Obsession indeed.
We are still talking about it, and there'll be still little, things we uncover as we keep going, and we will stay on top of it. And
the reason we're staying on top of it as much as we are, this is our coverage area.
Yeah.
Sarasota County, Northport, that's our coverage area. You turn on your NBC station, you find WFLA News Channel 8, and of course you find WFLA's Justin Checker. Justin, what are you going to be working on tonight? And
I think we're going to be following up on this development here. Excuse me, I put in a request to try to speak to Josh Taylor one-on-one. I don't know if that's going to happen, but good work on your end, JB, to confirm this. And again, just to wrap up, we're looking at those first few days in this investigation between Gabby's reported missing to when the official report came in for Brian Laundrie the following Friday. Again, this breaking development we've reported on the last couple of minutes here on the stream is that Wednesday they're saying they mistook Brian for his mother returning home, and that is why the chief made the definitive comment on the Thursday that we know where he is. We now know he'd already been out at the reserve for 3-4 days at this point. And again, there's still unanswered questions about how Brian died or when he might have died. And we'll still hopefully get those answers at some point. But this, again, is just clarifying why Northport Police felt they knew where he was when clearly he was already out there in the reserve and never came home.
WFLA staying on this story, folks, as far as asking the right questions and hopefully providing you with answers. That's our commitment to you, 8 on your side. We're wrapping up our live stream here on WFLA Now, but as a reminder, the latest for you, including this story and this new development, it's on WFLA.com, the WFLA app.
Wow. Do you know, when is it going to be an end to news that law enforcement mucked up? We're just getting story after story after story of these guys mucking up. It just is beyond. It's beyond. Florida doesn't have this great reputation. There's the Florida man, and everyone thinks that people in Florida are crazy, as it is. And I'm not saying that. And in the trial, there's a lot of weird crime that goes on in Florida. I'll say that. And these policemen, oh my God. It's unbelievable. So not only did they have cameras up at the neighbors' houses before he left, and they missed him leaving on the cameras. When the Mustang came back after they got it from the reserve, and they thought it was Brian coming back, but it was his mum, Roberta. Oh my God. I just don't understand how law enforcement could just muck up time after time after time. It just never stops. It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. I thought that the Summer Wells case was crazy, and I thought that Delphi was crazy, but this one takes the cake. It's just a circus. So, Elena says different species of Floridians, but we've got some nice Floridians in here. People, that was crazy. It was crazy. It just never stops. It's like I woke back up, got my coffee ready, and I'm like, oh my God, breaking news. There's another story. It's just continuing and continuing and continuing. It's just unreal. So I found this article that came out today, and I just wanted to share it with you guys because it just blew my mind. And I wonder if any of you guys have seen this. Just let me get things properly. There's a couple of them here. Let me share. This first one that I'm going to share is actually not true crime. So I'm trying to add it to the stream and add to stream. What is it doing? It's not working. Okay, just figure something out. So just give me a moment, girls and boys. And I'm surprised when I hear it because I thought the people there were really nice. Did I have it? Something's happening. I got it. Right. So this is the story I seen today, and I just couldn't believe it. So here we go. Hospital dumps a black man on a sidewalk with tubes still attached. He is found unresponsive. What the hell? What? A Georgia hospital dumped a seriously ill black man with tubes and a catheter still attached to him on a sidewalk after his Medicare ran out. The 68-year-old patient, who had a fever, signs of sepsis, a urinary tract infection, and an elevated heart rate, according to WSBDV, was found collapsed and unresponsive. This is boingboing.net, by the way. Channel 2's Mark Wynn talked to Police Deputy Chief Scott Freeman, the officer who rescued the man near the hospital. He says common sense dictates that you do not treat human beings this way that we're seeing in this particular case. Freeman said the 68-year-old man was discharged from hospital Thursday. A hospital employee told officers that the man had been at the hospital for 35 days and that Medicare would not continue to pay for his treatment. The employee said that security dressed the man and walked him out. Freeman said an officer was told the man was cleared as fit to leave by 2 doctors, and the hospital wanted him gone, though. He was literally ejected out to the sidewalk with no help whatsoever. I think it's inhumane. He was clearly incoherent. That's just not how we treat people here in the city or country. Oh, my God. Who does that? It's Georgia. I just had to share that because that just blew in my mind. Georgia. Pick it up a bit. Okay. And I'll just bring on the next one that I wanted to discuss. This one will blow your mind. I don't know if you've heard this one today, guys. So this is by 2fab.com. And what's the 3 children found living alone with decomposing remains of 9-year-old brother in Houston apartment. The mother and her boyfriend were tracked down, questioned, and released without charge. Police in Houston have discovered 3 children living alone in an apartment with the decomposing remains of their 9-year-old brother. The horrific find was made on Sunday afternoon at an apartment complex in Greencrest when a teen boy came to report the sibling had been lying dead in the room next to his for the past year. When deputies arrived, they found the 3 children, aged 15, 10, and 7, malnourished and showing signs of physical injury. On full display in one of the rooms, they discovered the skeletal remains of a 9-year-old boy. There were no adults to be found. Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez said the children had been abandoned pretty much. It is believed the parents have not lived in the unit for several months, he said in a tweet. Speaking to reporters at the scene, the sheriff described it as a very horrific set of circumstances, adding that the children had been living in pretty deplorable conditions. Our heart breaks for those 3. I mean, they're still children, and for that one, they'd passed away. At that age, it appears they were caring, basically fending for each other, which is very sad. Welcome, Amber. He added, I think the older sibling was basically doing the best he could to take care of the others. Sheriff Gonzalez said it did not appear as though the children were locked into the apartment. He could not explain why it took a teen a year to report the death or seek help, adding he wasn't sure what access the children had to phones. Oh my God. He said the body of the 9-year-old was not concealed. It appears the skeletal remains have been there for an extended period of time. Connecting all the dots at this point, it seems they were in there while the body was deteriorating. All 3 children were taken to hospital and treated. The homicide unit, child abuse unit, and crime scene unit are all part of the investigation, while CPS were also summoned. It is unclear if any of the children were enrolled in school. I don't think they would have been. On Monday morning, Sheriff posted an update on Twitter revealing that the mother had been tracked down late on Sunday night. Mother, listen to this one. Mother and her boyfriend were located, interviewed, and released, he wrote. CPS is assisting with the children. Our investigation remains ongoing. No charges have been filed. What the hell is going on? Oh my God. I don't even know where to start. So we've got, oh my God, their brother, a 9-year-old kid, decomposing on the floor in front of them for a year. Now just think of the what that would look like, how disgusting that would look like, and the smell. These children are going to have PTSD from this. They are going to need serious help from this. This is something that's going to F those children up for the rest of their lives. What state? So it was, let's find out. Harris County. I don't know if that helps you. Houston. So Texas. Oh my God. And then they find mum, and it says CPS is assisting. And does that mean they've given the children back to mum and they're just assisting her to look after the remaining kids? Or are they assisting in the fact that they've kept the kids? It doesn't sort of say. Then there's no charges filed. How does she not have some charges? Abandonment, neglect, child abuse. Hey, Marion. Good to see you. Oh, thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. And it says Texas. Oh, my God. Here they have the strict child laws there. No arrest. I know. It doesn't matter where in the world this is. This thing that did this to her children should be in jail, rotting right from the word go. It is so bad. I've never heard something like it. Never heard anything like it. You guys over there have a reputation, I tell you. Oh dear. That's just crazy. And I get some of these stories from Facebook because I'm in quite a few true crime groups on Facebook, and usually I just scroll by them and sort of have a wee look and just keep going, but this one caught my eye. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, thank you very much, Marion. I appreciate that. And it's ridiculous. Let's just say, I hope that just because no charges have been filed yet, I hope that there is still going to be charges and that CPS are not just assisting, they are keeping the children from their mother. Let's just hope. Elena have family that live in Houston. Texas would be cool to go to. Pam says neglect leading to death of a child is a charge here in Ohio. Oh, it's got to be something like that, doesn't it? It's got to be neglect. It's got to be some form of abuse, just for the kids that are alive. But what about the dead boy, the dead 9-year-old? If he's been there for a year, I don't know if they'll be able to find a cause of death. Why isn't she charged with a murder charge when the 9-year-old boy's been lying there for a year? I don't understand. Pam says COVID has changed everything for the worst in the States. Money going in wrong places, like these unfit parents, they give them money to do better and to do worse. Right. Marion, this is the child that was dead in the room with 3 others suffering of malnutrition. Texas laws are tough. Yeah, Marion, this is the one. But at the bottom of this article that I just read, and it was released today, it said they'd found the mum, but no charges had been filed. Autumn says maybe the parents have severe mental health issues and that's why no charges. Possibly, Autumn. I didn't think of that because let's face it, someone has to be pretty unwell to leave their kids like that. Possible. Good you brought that up. That's what you thought too, Anna. Yeah, well, I don't know the laws over there about mental health and how that plays into things. So it'll be interesting. We're definitely going to follow up, like keep an eye out on this case. And if there's any updates, then I will let you know on a live because this is crazy. Pam Smith, probably starvation and dehydration. Well, they say, yeah, they look malnourished. So I don't think they're eating and doing as well as they could, But the poor 15-year-old, he or she became a parent to siblings for a year. Oh, my God. Meth heads aren't being jailed, Anna. Jenna, hey, bud. Good. Thank you for coming. Jenna, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I just don't know. Don't know. Marion, Texas laws are tough. Give it time. We're not nice in the States. Yeah, I'm hoping that, maybe if it's not a mental health thing, or even if it is, we will hear that some charges have been laid soon. Maybe it's just that they're not now. So we'll keep an eye on it. I'm trying to see. Oh, there it is. Jenna, Houston is my hometown. Well, let's hope they come to the party and do what they need to. Who paid the rent and bills? Well, I guess the 15-year-old had to, which is strange. I mean, I don't know if they owned their place or they were renting it or whatever, or mortgage, who would pay that? What? Who would do all that? How did nobody notice? How did nobody notice where the hell was this house and what were the neighbors doing or not doing, for that matter? Anna, not here, they aren't. Oh, you're not tough laws? We don't have tough laws here for child abuse and child homicide either. Just grates me like you would never know. Jenna, I'm wondering why was the mother questioned and released? Like, hello, there is a skeleton in your home. But you're absolutely right, Jenna. What? No charges. We've had, suggestion that maybe I don't know. I just can't believe it. Oh, speaking of kids, any updates on Michael Vaughan? Hey, it's Monkey, isn't it? I'll have a look, Anna says, I've got cousins in Houston. Pam Smith, the parents only been gone 2 or 3 months. Police were probably there to evict them. No, it said it was a year, Pam, I think. Let's see. Living alone. Yeah, so reporting that the sibling had been lying dead in the room next to his for the past year. So, crazy. Marion says, yes, where were the neighbours in the school? Well, did they even go to school? But if they did, you're right. Where are the neighbours? Where's the school? Where's this community not noticing? I just can't believe. Michael Vaughan, Monkey. Oh, yeah, we're getting there. Let's try and see. It's actually a case I haven't kept it up on properly. So let's 11th, 27th of the 9th, try and get the latest. Oh, here's something interesting. Oh, let's look at this. In a year, it was a year. Pam says, my brother refuses to drive through Texas to get to Mexico. Autumn says, so dead body for a year, but we don't know how long the parents are gone. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I read now. Let me think. So did it say the parents had only been away for a few months? It is believed the parents have not lived in the unit for several months. So I'm not quite sure. Tara, 15, 10, and 7, the 3 kids, and the 9-year-old boy was the one that was decomposing on the ground. We could probably fit New Zealand into Texas. How many millions or how many people live in Texas? Hey, Sweetly Morbid, good to see you. Tara, okay, 5. They found him now because he is 5 and should have started school. Maybe. Good point, Tara. Pam Smith said the boy did a year, but further down I thought you said parents had only been gone for a few months because I was surprised they'd put up with the smell. So, yeah, the human remains had been there for over a year. And then they say it is believed the parents have not lived in the unit for several months. So that's huge. Oh, I missed it. Let me see. How many? 28.70 million in Texas. Let's give you some context here. New Zealand only has 5 million people. So you could put a few New Zealands into Texas. That's huge. That's absolutely huge. All right. Let's have an update. I feel bad that I haven't updated this case, actually. I have a bad memory and I have to make the right shit down. Otherwise, I'm terrible. Michael Joseph Vaughan, police appeal for individual spotted on video near last spot of missing 5-year-old. This is from independent.co.uk. Two months. Sorry, guys, I'm going to do something in the chat and it's just not working. 2 months after 5-year-old Michael Vaughan went missing from near his home in Fruitland, Idaho, investigators have now appealed to the public to help identify 4 individuals who were seen in neighborhoods surveillance videos. Here we go again. Cameras getting caught. In a Facebook post, oh, please let us read the rest. Oh, you are absolutely shitting me. I'll try later. Give me the rest of it. Oh, hang on. Here we are. On a post on 8th of October, the Fruitland Police Department said that they are seeking the public's assistance in identifying the drivers of 2 cars, along with 2 other individuals who were seen near Crestview Park, where Michael went missing between 6 and 7 p.m. Thank you, Sweetly Morbid. I appreciate it. That's real nice. According to the police, they are looking for the drivers of a white Honda Pilot 2016 to 2020 model year and a blue Dodge Avenger, the 2010 to 2011 model, while the white Honda Pilot was seen leaving the area between 6 and 7 p.m. Surveillance videos also show the blue Dodge Avenger leaving the area and then immediately turning right and then heading south. The police also sought help in identifying 2 individuals spotted in surveillance videos at Crestview Park. One is a shirtless with dark hair wearing dark shorts, then jogging on the walk near Crestview Park. The other is an adult male with dark hair wearing a white t-shirt and black shorts, seen walking down into the park area. Individuals are not suspects or persons of interest. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do the chat and read at the same time, and I can't multitask. I'm so bad. Police, however, said these individuals are not suspects or persons of interest. It's very important to understand that these people are not suspects or persons of interest, but it is important to talk to each of them to help us complete the picture of the events that took place that evening, the Facebook post said. Michael went missing from near his home in Fruitland, 27th of July. While the Fruitland Police Department, the Idaho State Police, and the Federal Bureau of Investigations are probing the case, the boy is yet to be found. Investigators said they have received over 471 tips and increased the cash reward for any clues to the whereabouts of the missing boy to $40,000. That's good. After an anonymous donation. Oh, that's cool. Oh, it's really nice of someone to do that. The police also said that a family of the missing boy remains fully cooperative and have continued to work with the investigators. Last month, the police said that they had found no trace of the boy after cornfields were harvested and cleared. Michael, whose nickname is Monkey, was last wearing black boxer briefs, a light blue Minecraft t-shirt, and flip-flop sandals. Oh, it's awful. Awful. So many of our babies going missing over there. Yeah, breaks my heart. Autumn Falls. Marion, you're in Ohio. Hello, Ohio. Oh, Pam Smith is in Ohio. Just reading. Louisiana has 4.649 people where I'm at. So, Elena, then it's about the same size as New Zealand, maybe, like for people in that. Cleared the dark car, Anna? Okay, I didn't see that. Thank you. Are we ready for cold rain and temps coming your way week of the 1st? Yeah, you guys are going into your winter and we are going into our summer. But let me tell you something. I'm not a summer person. I don't like the sun. I don't like heat. And I'd prefer autumn or actually winter. So I'm not looking forward to the summer. I melt in the sun. I just don't like it. Okay, so earlier on when we were chatting earlier on in the other stream earlier, there was a couple of names and I'm going to have a look up at one of these. I can't remember who it was, but the name was Brianne Walgram. And let's take a look. Hopefully I've taken her name down properly and not going to spell it. Oh, shit. Why didn't that work? Everybody, why didn't that work? Is my computer doing the funky chicken? I just searched that. Go. Don't you just love computers when they just do shit? Go. We'll just give it a moment here, shall we? See, it's coming. I'll just give it a moment. Pam Smith says it's supposed to whoop down to you all in Alabama, Georgia, Carolinas, all southern states, then up to us and eastern shore of cyclone. That doesn't sound good. Autumn says you might be in the wrong country then. And so do I. Curious. Did I see you? You're back. Been for a haircut. Oh, lovely. Sounds nice. Pam says, well, TJ, you can come stay at my house and I stay at yours for my winter. Your winters somewhere are a bit harsher than ours, that's for sure. Okay, so we've just found it, so that's good. I think, Jenna, did you say it was an older case? Pam says, when I can get the next. Yes, right. Thank you, Marianne. I'm trying to multitask. I don't do it well. It's not flowing, but it's all right. Please hit that like button if you can. It is 12:30 p.m., so it is lunchtime. Let's have a look. Brienne. Oh my God, I nearly said Brian. That's terrible. That's so terrible. Brienne Ruth Walgram was a soft-spoken, sweet, and attractive young woman. She was just 19 years old at the time of her disappearance. Now we're at findbrienne.wordpress.com. Many people viewed her as shy or timid. Those who were lucky enough to get to know her would say she was outgoing, fun, and absolutely hilarious. She was employed at McDonald's restaurant, the old Frontiers Super Safe gas station, both located on the Trans-Canada Highway in Revelstoke, BC. What's BC? Please. Brienne, is that British Columbia? Is that like in Canada? I don't know. Brienne resided with her parents, Cheryl and Cliff. She has two older brothers, Troy and Todd, who were not living at home during the time of Brienne's disappearance. Like many young women, Brienne spent most of her time working and hanging out with her close group of friends. Her schooling, 2 jobs, and older brothers led her to make a variety of different friends and acquaintances throughout Revelstoke. Brienne led an active lifestyle, playing sports throughout high school and working out at the gym. She occasionally consumed alcohol at parties, but did not smoke cigarettes or do drugs. British Columbia, thank you. She had dreams of going to college, traveling, getting married, and having children, though she was not romantically linked to any particular boy. Brienne did have crushes, like we all did, us young ladies at that age. Not long before she disappeared, Brienne had purchased a black Acura Integra with gold-coloured rims that was her pride and joy. It was in pristine condition, and she made sure to take care of it. The last summer was filled with Slurpees, rocky beaches, and the loud blaring of Beastie Boys from her new car. Oh my God. I haven't heard the Beastie Boys for years. The summer of 1998 came to a tragic end when our dear friend was taken from us on September the 5th. Brienne disappeared that evening without a trace. Her family and friends have been deeply missing her for a very long time and are no longer willing to sit around and wait. We are coming for you, Brienne. We love you, and we will not give up. Okay. So, vitals at time of disappearance. She was born in 1979, the same year as me. She was 19, 5'2", 130 pounds. White female, light brown, curly shoulder-length hair, often worn tied back. Blue eyes, and a birthmark on the back of her right leg. Clothing, she was wearing blue jeans, a white t-shirt, and black sandals. Circumstances. Brienne was last seen between 11 and 11:30 p.m. on September the 5th, 1998, at the 7-Eleven store in Revelstoke, BC. She was witnessed in the company of 3 young unidentified females. 5 days later, her abandoned vehicle was found 30 kilometres south of Revelstoke, up Echo Lake Road in the general direction of the Acolcolligs Falls and River. Her wallet, driver's license, and $200 cash were found in the vehicle. Wow. So I'll have to see if we can find something else that has a bit more details. Oh, that's a very, very sad case. It's a bit weird. I'm just trying to have a look. Maybe Global News. Let's have a look at this one and see if we can get some more information. I have to take a drink. Hang on. As we were just talking about the heat before, now I have to put the fan on because I'm hot as shit. $70 degrees on Long Island, New York. Very odd this time of year. I don't know what that is in Celsius. Oh, come on now. Come on, computer. I don't know why it's messing it up. Oh, maybe I could get rid of some of these. See if that helps. Okay, so here she is. Globalnews.ca. Let's see if we can get Elena's still in the 80s. Yeah, this was in the 80s. Oh, right, got you. You're in the 80s. Hot flashes. Yeah, they're not nice. Right, let's have a look and see if we can get some information, more of it. On September 5, 98, Brianne Walgram, 19, seemed to vanish without a trace. She was last seen around 11:30 a.m. I thought it was 11:30 p.m. in the last one. Anywho, at a 7-Eleven store in Revelstoke, getting into her car with 3 unknown girls. She was driving a black 1989 Acura Integra with distinctive gold rims and a BC license plate of GMN661. Walgram had made plans to meet a friend and go to a long weekend party, but she never made it. A man out hunting early the next morning says he saw a girl matching her description walking along the Echo Lake Road about 30 kilometres south of Revelstoke. That was the last possible sighting of the teen. Her vehicle was found 5 days later on a logging road south of Revelstoke. There were no signs of foul play, and $200 in her wallet was still in the car. An extensive search of the forested area failed to find any trace of the missing girl. And if you do have information, 1-800-661-6160. Missing Children Society of Canada. Wow. That's terrible. Very terrible. There's not much. And do you know what that interested me is down the bottom, they said foul play is not suspected, I think. There were no signs of foul play, but they find her car and not her. They find $200 in her wallet, still in her car. That doesn't make any sense. So, and she's missing. That makes no sense. So there was definitely had to be foul play of some description. Very, very sad. All right. Was she trafficked? Jenna says, what could have happened? I don't know. Definitely wasn't a robbery. Bigfoot. Wow. Possibility? Good thinking, Jenna thought the same. Does it say anything about if the vehicle was running? Could have easily popped a tire or whatnot on some of those side roads. Yeah, no, I didn't mention. Didn't say that, I don't think. Where did they say they found your car? Did it say in the? I think I said in the other one that they found your car. This was in 1998 on September the 5th. Pam Simo. It was a while ago. Jenna said there was some sort of sporting event happening in that area at the time, like maybe human traffickers were there. If you need me to put it in the chat, Autumn, I'll do that for you. Are you frozen curious? Is anyone else? Oh, no buffering. Bugger. Just going to close a couple of things down and see if it fixes itself. So are we back? Are we back, ladies and gentlemen? I haven't got the best computer, and I'm really stupid because I have too many things open all the time, too many tabs open, and I think that I've got the supercomputer, and I just don't. So, yeah. All right. The screen is very blurry, though. Blurry? Weird. It's clear now. It's back. Screen is blurry. Is it like put a 1 if it's blurry, put a 2 if it's okay. I'll just wait. Pam, I seen a post that a girl texted her family saying she thought she was about to be trafficked this weekend. Police pinged her phone and it stopped on interstate. Her parents weren't sure because she has issues. Right. Okay, now I forgot about my 1s and my 2s. which. I'm hoping I'm back. I'll just hang on. Yeah, reload, guys, and hopefully I'm going to be okay because there's another couple of people that I would like to look up. Curious, am I blurry? Yes or no? 1 is blurry, 2 is not. Okay. Oh, there's some 2s. There's some 2s. I'm back for you, Autumn. Awesome. Guys, I am shit at computers and technical stuff. So awesome. Right. So I'm going to open up it again, and I'm going to go back to what we were doing. So Autumn Falls, if you're going to, I'll try when I'm finished the stream to find that article, and I'll put the link in the description box below, and then Autumn, you'll have it. And also, let us know what else you find out. That would be really interesting. Computers are being hormonal. I swear that they actually are. 13 in here, please hit the like button. Thank you. The algorithm hates my face, hates my stream, so I need to get as many likes as I can to be able to stay on here. Okay, now the next person I wanted to talk about, we're all girls here. Where the hell, why is it not typing in? Okay, so I should have been typing something into Google. I was typing it into chat. Does not help the situation. Right, just give me a minute, girls. I don't think there's any boys, unless there's some boys watching. No, that's not what I want. Okay. I was listening to a podcast last night and it was so amazing. And it had a story about a young lad called Jason Landry. And this case boggled my mind. And that's probably why I didn't sleep last night, because of this case, because I was listening to it and it just boggled my mind. So we're at fox7austin.com. So, mena hormonal too, is they are hormonal too, Elena. Family investigators push for geofence warrant in Jason Landry case, and hopefully we'll get to find out what happened and see what it says. It has been 150 days since Texas State University student Jason Landry vanished on a drive home from a holiday break. People don't know what to say to us, and we've learned to understand that it touches all of us kind of in our deepest place. It's the nightmare of any parent. You know, it's the worst thing is not knowing, and that's from his dad, Kent. Investigators believe the 21-year-old planned to drive home from his apartment in San Marcos to Missouri City, a suburb of Houston. A timeline from the Caldwell County Sheriff's Office tracks Landry's movements. I can't say these names. Oh shit, am I supposed to be sharing it? Thanks, Autumn. I appreciate that. For goodness sake. Okay, let's keep trying. We'll get there, guys. I'll get it. A timeline from the Caldwell County Sheriff's Office tracks Landry's movements from when he left his apartment in San Marcos to when his phone ceased pinging in Luling. So Luling is the place that he went missing from. Curious, I've got Brian Laundrie on the brain, TJ. Yes, I have too, and it's just mucking me up because I don't like calling other people the wrong name. Oh dear. Okay, let's look at the timeline. On December the 13th at 10:55 p.m., Jason leaves his apartment in San Marcos, headed to Missouri City. So he was at university, and they were taking a break, and he decided to head home to spend some time with his family. He actually told a friend that he was going to be leaving about 8:30 p.m. that night, but he actually didn't get around to leaving till about 10:55 p.m. Now, he had to drive a certain route we call over here, a route to get to his parents' house, and it had to go through this town of Luling. He'd only driven it a couple of times, his dad said, and it was dark. So the two times that he had driven through, it was daytime. December 13th, 11:05, he is driving on Highway 80 and passes under I-35 in San Marcos. And then 11:07, he enters Caldwell County on Highway 80 heading south. He enters Martindale. Okay, we'll go down to this one. December 13th, 11:24, Landry enters the Luling on Highway 80. Let's see what this says. Okay, if it says anything. I don't know if it says anything. Let's try this one. Let's see if this one works. It's not working. Good night, Marion. Thank you. Okay, I'm not going to play. Oh, I love my life. So basically, he came up to a intersection in Luling. He was supposed to take a right and then a left to get back onto the highway to get to his house. He had a app.
This usual quiet and empty part of Caldwell County.
This is a very rural area. There are not homes around
Which one
here.
is it?
Was filled with volunteers, helicopters,
That's
other
right.
searching
Oh, there you go.
resources to look for missing Texas State student Jason Landry.
A lot of ground to cover.
Jason went missing December 13th of last year while on his way home from college for Christmas break. It was near this remote area northeast of Luling, where his wrecked car was last seen. With Jason nowhere to be found. 3 months later, he's still missing.
Right now,
The volunteers
Oh my
still
God.
looking for
you
him.
can save
Hopefully
big on
today
some
is
of
the
our
day that we
absolute
get
best
this break.
mattresses. Save $300
And,
on premium Tempur-Pedic mattresses.
Oh my God,
Plus,
what else?
Urban mattresses don't
I'm so sorry.
It's really the only area the investigation has led to regarding to
Oh my
where
God.
Jason
Oh, it is this one. I'm going to lose my mind. I tell you, I'm going to lose my mind. Now it stopped playing.
and it's already been searched multiple times.
I need a better computer.
But Texas Search and Rescue has decided to return and search again.
We are covering tens of thousands of acres here again, researching a lot of areas that were searched
Laugh
previously
away,
in
Gordon.
December when
Laugh
Jason
away,
first went
honey.
missing, just with a finer tooth comb.
The weekend-long search was made up of almost 100 volunteers putting in their all to find Jason.
We're just doing those different methods, whether that's ground pounders or UAV drone, helicopter, canine, human remains dogs, and various resources. We have water resources out here as well.
The goal? Find Jason. But if anything, it's at least to bring them closer to finding him.
We want to see this through for the family, and that's why we're here.
Okay. So instead of taking this right and this left that he needed to get onto the next highway, he, for some reason, went straight through the intersection. And then it leads into back roads, and he gets onto a road where it becomes gravel or shingle. I don't know what you guys call it. He travels quite a few miles or kilometers down that gravel road. So he had his phone. He had an app called Waze, and it was like Google Maps, you know, and that was telling him where he was going. The phone pinged right up until this intersection, and then it just stopped. So CCO says that as Landry went through the intersection of Hackberry Street, where Highway 80 becomes Austin Street, he stopped using the Waze app and began using Snapchat. Landry then continued on Austin Street to the intersection of US 183, also known as Magnolia Avenue. Investigators believe he continued straight through that intersection, continuing on to E. Austin, but at this intersection, his digital footprints stop. Landry then continued on E. Austin onto Spruce Street, which turns into Salt Flat Road. Now, a volunteer firefighter found Jason Landry's car crashed and abandoned down that road on December the 14th at 12:30 a.m. and the vehicle's lights were still on. So, this hasn't been much time that has gone on. So he was at the intersection at what? 11:24 p.m. He enters Luling. And now it's 12:30 a.m. So there's like an hour, and the volunteer firefighter finds the car. Right. After that, it is a complete mystery. There is no sign of Jason, said Talita Copeland, retired FBI agent who currently works as a private investigator and volunteers to search for missing people, including Jason. She and fellow retired FBI agent lady, a highway patrol trooper, had Jason's car towed. He took his backpack, which contained a few joints, and left. Okay, this is interesting. I don't know if I've heard this part of it before. Good night, Marion.
I'm Shane Dikey, owner of Urban Mattress, and right now our fall savings event is in full swing, and you can save big on some of our absolute best mattresses. Save $300 on premium Tempur-Pedic mattresses. Plus, Urban Mattresses.
No phone call on this one, Autumn.
A wrecked car, locked doors, keys in the ignition. But 16 days later, where is the driver? Newly released evidence detailed in this document from the Texas Department of Public Safety indicates backpack just 100 feet from Jason Landry's wrecked car. Inside the bag, narcotics and Landry's belongings, including his wallet. Landry has been missing since December 13th and wrecked outside of Luling. Family members tell Fox 7 he was en route from Texas State to come home for Christmas. His father, Kent, remains hopeful as he told Fox 7's Rudy Koski.
I pray for a miracle.
But if that miracle doesn't come, and it's the answer that you don't want, how do you move forward? How does the family move forward?
Gosh, God's help.
Tuesday, Kent added he did not know about the drugs found in Jason's backpack and stated any parent would be naive to be shocked that a college student had drugs in his or her backpack. Meanwhile, community members are stepping in to help search for Landry, including via drone. Yet, the mystery remains. Where is Jason Landry?
So I never heard of a backpack filled with narcotics. Never heard that. Never heard it on the podcast. Never heard it anywhere else. And they just said he took his backpack, which contained a few joints. That's not backpack filled with narcotics. I don't know what planet they are on. Hours later, Kent, the dad, found his way to Salt Flat Road. He expected to see flashing police lights and his son. Instead, the road was dark and empty. He said, I saw deer.
COVID-19 is still with us, but for these frontline healthcare workers.
He said, I saw deer. 3 different sets of deer ran by. Coyotes ran by, and I didn't see another car or another person. Wow. So I just can't believe that they called it a car full of narcotics and it was only a couple of joints. That just blows my mind. And the fact that they found this car of a young boy, I think he was around 18 to 20, I can't remember, but a crashed car, the young man is missing. They ring the parents and Kent drives down there. And then he arrives and there's no law enforcement there, no one looking for his son. Wow. The clothing Jason Landry had been wearing, his shoes, even his underwear, were scattered throughout the street. Kent said, I found my son's fish. I don't know what that was. I found where the accident was, and I'm the only one who took pictures or video of it, he said. Kent Landry was able to locate his son's vehicle in an impound lot. His cell phone was still in the car. No one was searching for him. Kent, an attorney, said, as a lawyer, I can tell you, normally you're better safe than sorry. It's better to have too much evidence and not enough. They desperately searched for him. I know that they desperately searched for him. Now, the dad found, as he was out looking for Brian, the dad found clothing of Brian's strewn across a part of the gravel road. And he knew it was Brian's clothes because of the socks. I don't know, the socks were weird. And he knew it was his son's stuff. And he also found, I think, in the car, his wallet was there, also a backpack with his PlayStation in it, and the phone, of course. Bye, Pam. Thanks for coming. Why was the clothes strewn around? And the best way we can describe it is perhaps because it was really, really cold that night, apparently. Colder than usual. Maybe he bumped his head in the car maybe then he got hypothermia and started undressing, and that's something called paradoxal undressing, and it happens when you get hypothermia. So it could be. And then did he go and just lay somewhere because he was cold and died from the elements or something? Yeah, the weed, it could have been laced. I seen someone say autumn falls. There's a definitely possibility. But yes, he has never been seen since. Just a mystery. And there's quite a few cases around that involve young kids going missing from their wrecked cars. So Copeland and Kent Landry are now hoping investigators can get that answer with a geofence warrant, which Copeland explained is basically a box around the vehicle accident, and we can ask, tell us what other cell phones were in the area at that time. Kent Landry added, the accident scene is the middle of nowhere in that hour window. It may very well be possible that there's not another person in that box except Jason and whoever did whatever they did, whoever else is involved in the case. Whew. So that one's this one's a tough one. If your clothes get wet. There was a lot of ponds nearby, or, water. And this is a really strange part of the story that I heard last night on The Vanished. And Marissa was interviewing Kent Landry, the dad. There was a lot of ponds out there, and they brought out different dogs. They had quite a few people or different organizations doing looking for him. And these dogs kept hitting on water sources, like ponds. There was all these ponds, and all these different dogs kept going to this pond. So they drained the pond, and nothing was there. So they let it fill back up, and then again, the dogs went to the pond again, and they had already searched it. But something weird came out. Apparently, because of the atmosphere or the terrain or whatever where they were, some sort of chemical went off in their water in that area, and it produced the smell of decomposition of a body. So that is why the dogs kept going back and back and back, which is just the strangest shit ever. Jenna says, no, it's illegal here, but they won't arrest you for it anymore in Austin. Did they do searching in the bodies of water? Yeah, Autumn, they did. They did. Elena, it's illegal here too, but won't arrest for it either. Staggering around. Well, we just don't know, because was he being chased? Was there a carjacking of some kind? Now, his dad said that the car he was driving was some old shitbox. So he didn't really think that that someone it would be a carjacking for his car. His dad didn't think that. A gas leak. Possible, Anna, possible. Autumn, I don't know much about draining ponds, but could he have been hidden in the silt? I guess it's a possibility, Autumn. I can't say it's not. I mean, they haven't found him. They missed him somewhere, CBD and medical are legal papers from the doctor. So in New Zealand, it's illegal still, all of it. Curious said, a young guy running around in the nude would be pretty memorable, you would think. It was, but it would have been. But he was in the middle of nowhere. That's the random thing. So did he get hypothermia in that last hour? Because this is only an hour. We've only got an hour window here of when he lost the time, because they knew he was going through that intersection, till the time that the firefighter found his car was about an hour. So not much time. Even though it was really, really cold, could he have got hypothermia in just 1 hour, which led to the paradoxical undressing, all the clothes his dad found? And then he's run off, and in his confusion, because maybe he hit his head, he found some sort of hole to try and hide in to get out of the weather and to keep warmish, and the environment got him. Nature got his ass, but I don't know. Or is there something more sinister going on? If I thought that his backpack contained filled with narcotics, then I would wonder about drugs being an issue. But a couple of joints, I don't think really constitutes a feel bad for narcotics, for one thing, and leads me less to think that it was about drugs. Autumn says, depending on the temperature, you can get it very quickly. Right. If there's water around, yes. Well, I just don't know what else to say. It's just such a bizarre one. This happens so often over there. That's why everyone loves America, because you have so much stories, and yeah, very, very interesting. Interesting, they actually... Oh, okay, no, we're not allowed that at all. It's illegal. We had a referendum like last year, and it was like 49% of people voted to legalize it, and 51% of New Zealand said against. And yeah. Anna says, I've had frostbite. Ooh, no, I haven't had that. Yeah, I've had frostbite many times, mostly on my feet. Oh, bugger that, girls. No, bugger that. The funny thing is, I have such bad circulation in my feet that I need like 2 pairs of socks, even like now, with the fan on, which makes a lot of sense. But even this summer, I wear socks because of my feet being cold. Wow, that's lame. There's cold and very cold, anything wet, tank off. Yeah, well, I don't see, like, that's the most plausible answer, isn't it, to what happened? It doesn't make sense. I was actually going through a few things today on the old Book of Faces, Facebook. And I'm not quite sure how I ended up here, but I will add to the stream and show you what I'm looking at. Central Florida missing persons. Check out how many people are missing in Florida. Central Florida. I don't know how big Florida is, if it's got a west or an east or a central or whatever. But look at the faces of all these people. It just blows my mind. It doesn't say how many people are on here or how many missing people they have. Found this guy, that's good. So this guy is missing. Dan Frazier. Rest in peace. So obviously they found this guy. Found safe. That's good. It's good to know that there's cases that are actually solved or found, or you know what I mean. Okay, this one doesn't look found. This guy is a missing endangered adult, and he went missing Thursday, October the 15th, 2020, age 63. His name is Robert Andrew Black. He went missing in Tampa, Florida. On October 15, 2020, at approximately 8 a.m., shortly after being admitted to an assisted living facility, Robert Black walked away. He has not been seen or heard from since. Anyone with information, please contact. Unfortunately, this guy was found deceased. There's a missing child, 14 years old. Anaya Granger from Deltona, Sanford, believed to be in Orlando or Lake Nona area. Missing since 11th of the 4th. This is back at 2020, this post, so that's old. Another found safe. That's awesome. This one's been found safe. Another one found safe. Wow, another one found safe. Oh, not this one. This is from the Pembroke Pines Police Department. Missing juvenile. Have you seen 17-year-old Alyssa Pierce? She was last seen leaving Children's Harbour in Pembroke Pines on 10/21/20. Alyssa is 4 months pregnant and is diagnosed with depression. It is unknown at this time if she has been taking her medications. That's very, very sad. This guy came back safe. That's great. Okay, this one. Oh, found safe. Good. Okay. This young lady here is Sia Annette Taylor. She's been missing since February 6, 2020. She was last seen dropping off someone. She said, I was last seen dropping off someone I considered to be my boyfriend at a friend's home that day in Plant City, Florida. Now I know he never loved me. He hasn't done anything to try and help my family find me. Oh dear. My birthday is in 12 days. More than anything, I'd love to be home with my family. Let's have a look. Oh, what happened? Oh, here we go. So Sia was last seen in Plant City, Florida. Plant City? Slitty. I'm sorry. Let me try again. Sia was last seen in Plant City. Oh my God, I can't say the word. Plant City, Florida, on Thursday, February 6, 2020, dropping her boyfriend off at a friend's home around 4 p.m. Sia's car was later found around 7 p.m. abandoned on the train tracks less than a mile from this friend's home. Sia has not been seen since. The Taylor family is offering a $5,000 reward for any information. Now, actually, I actually done a video on this girl and her disappearance. It's one of my early videos, so it's really hilarious because I'm wearing a wig and sunglasses, if I'm even showing my face back then. So, yeah, I did a video on this case, so please check that out if you can. Stop drinking and streaming, TJ. I wish that was an excuse and then I'd have an excuse, but I don't have an excuse. It's just that I've talked like for hours and hours and hours, and now my brain is like mush. So, yeah. So I'm going to hop off, guys, because I can't speak for some reason. I think I need to unmuddle my head and shut my mouth for a while and let it heal so I don't mess up so much because I'm struggling at the moment. I think it's the lack of sleep overnight, the fact that I've done 2 lives, and so I've talked a few hours. So everybody have a great day, have a great afternoon, have a great evening, whatever that means for you. Bombo chat, just to Bumbo Clot. Sorry, we're heading off, but depending on how I feel, I might come back on later. And although you guys will probably be in bed. Autumn Falls 89, thanks for the stream. Take care. Bombo, please come back next time. Hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Love you guys too, Anna. Thank you so much. All right, I'll see you when I see you next, and I'm going to go and rest. You know, shut my face up. Keep it quiet. See you guys. Love you, love you.